Hey guys, welcome to Pete's Ghias. In this multi-part video series, I'll be installing a new wiring harness into my Karmann Ghia. Part 2 covers the driver side headlight harness, which includes the brake lights, horn relay, and high beam switch. Check it out. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, you really should go back and watch it, otherwise you'll be hopelessly lost. Now that the tachometer and the speedometer are in place and the main wiring harness is hooked up to the fuse block, the next step is to take a look at this whole spaghetti system of wires here and just pull out the left wiring harness. So this is what is going in next. This is basically identical to a Beetle. The wire is going to go through the top of the trunk and into the cabin. And then it's going to another set of wires is going to come out here. There's a ground wire that goes to the steering column, and then the brake wires are going to go to the brake light switch on the end of the master cylinder. So to do this, I need to put grommet in place. Just going to pop that in there real quick. And the second grommet goes in right here. This is just a little awkward because filming with one hand and doing the work with the other hand. So now I'm ready for the wires. So there's just a few branches of wires that come off of this harness, actually several. So right here, this goes to the horn relay. These wires go to the headlight and the turn signal up front. This set of wires right here, this goes to the brake light switch. This goes to the high low beam switch pedal. And these wires are gonna go behind the dash. So why don't I start with these first? Something which is somewhat confusing about this wiring harness is the fact that there are two yellow wires coming out the top. One is slightly thicker, one is slightly thinner. The slightly thinner wire goes to the low beam on the left side of the car, and the thicker wire feeds both low beams from the other side of the fuse box. So this low beam wire is going to go in front, and this bigger wire is going to go in back. Okay, so the fourth tab over from the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is low beams on the driver's side. It's plugged in. And the low beam from the switch goes right here. Okay, next we have the wires that go to the brake light. Put those in right here. And these go over on the far right. Okay, those are attached. Next, high beam wire. High beam goes on to second to the right. I'll put that on right here. Okay, high beam wire is attached. Okay, next we have this black and white wire right here. This is for the driver side front turn signal, and that attaches to the black and white adapter off of the turn signal switch. Okay, this would be easier if I were an octopus. Sometimes you have to give these things a little encouragement to go in. Okay, there it is. Coming off the main harness, there's a wire that we haven't used yet, and this is a black and red wire that attaches to the black and red wire on the driver's side front harness here. So this little junction is going to go in the middle, and this attaches right here like so. I'm going to get my needle nose pliers out and force them in all the way, as the wires alone aren't strong enough to push them in. All right, there we go. Okay, so this big white wire right here comes from the dimmer switch on the floor, and this white wire sends power to the high beams. So it's going to plug in right here in the back of the fuse box, like so. Back to our light switch. There are two wires that come out of this harness that get attached. This gray wire is for the running lights for the front, and this white and black wire, this sends power to the dimmer switch. So this gets attached to terminal 56 on the light switch, and that is this right here, if I'm not mistaken. And hopefully I'm not mistaken. And the gray wire goes into number 57, just like Heinz ketchup. Okay, now I can set this aside. I'm not going to put this into the dash until everything's wired. So after a quick idiot check to make sure I hooked up these wires correctly, ready to stuff these wires into the top of the trunk. So, okay, sneak these past here as well. There's space. Stuff those in, followed by the ground wire for the horn. Ooh, okay, lost my grommet. Go under the car and force the grommet back up. There we go. Okay, so these 3 wires here go to the dimmer switch that goes right here on the firewall. And these 2 wires go to the master cylinder. And then this wire here is the ground for the horn, grounds to the steering column. And they're gonna go back through that grommet under the gas tank. This is a very important wire. Without this, your horn will not work. This grounds the horn from the horn ring. I slide the wires into this horn boot, which will protect the wires and brake light switch from the elements, as it's in an exposed area of the car. Okay, I couldn't get a really good angle on this with a tripod. I didn't want to risk it falling over and damaging the car. So I did this off camera, but those 2 wires are going into the switch on the master cylinder, and the boot is pulled over on top of that, protecting that from water and the elements so we don't get any corrosion on those wires. And I put a little grease on there, put a little dielectric grease on those 2 terminals just to protect them a little bit under there, because that is like an exposed area underneath the car. Okay, so this old-fashioned looking gizmo right here, this is the 4 dimmer switch. So on older cars, you want to switch between high beams and low beams, you use your left foot and you push down on this switch and that toggle between them. So for this, this gets screwed into the front of the firewall there underneath the dash. And the wires that I just pulled through, white, which is the bright wire, goes to 56A. The white and black wire, which is the main power, goes to 56. And the yellow wire, which is low beams, goes to 56B. And the way you tell which is which is that they're all stamped right here into the metal, and on the back side they're stamped into the plastic, which might be hard to see on camera, but there's really no moisture in it. Put on your reading glasses and make sure you have enough light, and just screw this into the firewall. Let's talk about horn relays for a second here. This is an original 6-volt horn relay, and originally there was like a metal clip right here, and that hooked onto a hole inside the trunk, and that just hooked on to the side of the trunk wall, and that's how they attached it. I'm not reusing this because it's missing the clip, number one. Number two, it's 6 volt, and I'm not even sure it works anymore. So for my 12 volt conversion, I have this brand new relay right here, and there's a metal clip that hooks onto the back of this. So there's a really simple way to attach it to the side of the trunk wall. Okay, right now we're looking in the spare tire area. There's the driver side air intake, and that metal clip on the left side of the screen is the new clip for the horn relay, and I'm holding it in place with a 5mm screw and a nylock nut. And on the opposite side, right here, of the air intake, zooming in to the middle of your screen right there, is the back side of that screw with the rubber grommet holding everything in place. Okay, so here we go. These are the wires for the horn relay coming off the end of the harness. We have 4 terminals on this relay. So red goes to number 30, and red wires are always power. This black jumper goes to number 86. And brown wires are always ground, goes to 85. The terminal that is left over, which is number 87, powers the horns once I install the horns later on. I've got the horn relay in place. I put it on this way so that this terminal doesn't hit the screw, and it's facing out so I have access to the wires. Okay, so off this harness, the only 4 wires that are remaining are the high and low beam wires to the headlight and the turn signal and the running lights. However, I'm not going to put these in yet because the car is not fully painted, so there's no point in running these wires yet because they're just going to get overspray on them. So I'm going to leave these dangling in the trunk right now, but just so you know, these wires on a 65 model, they go through this slot in the side of the trunk, and then they go to the headlight and the turn signal. So when they built the car, they're very thoughtful, and they put this tab right here, this metal tab, to hold the harness down. It's still working well, so I'm gonna put that right there, hold the wiring harness in place, and that's looking pretty good. As usual, this video is getting too long, so we'll pick up in part 3 with the passenger side headlight harness and the dome light harness. Become a subscriber so you don't miss out on a single video from Pete's Ghias, your #1 source for Karmann Ghia DIY and restoration on YouTube, according to me.